everybody. This is Pete from Paw Labs, and today I'm going to do a video or two on RTF. I was on my website yesterday and realized that by far the number one thing downloaded has been the RTF code. So there's an awful lot of interest in RTF. So what I wanted to do was convert this into cheat sheets to where pretty much it'll only take you a few minutes to actually implement RTF on an existing project. And to prove that to you guys, I'm going to go ahead and build a project called Cheat Sheet. Now, I've got my forms. We'll come up here. It requires two, believe it or not. So this is going to be my FRM form RTF. So this is my main screen that we'll have. And what I have done is this is simply an RTF editor. Well, it's just an editor gadget. And then instead of a toolbar, I went with just putting in image buttons. And every image button here, whoops, I had just created a new one, didn't I? Every image button here has an image on its surface identifying what it is. Now, you can add a whole bunch more, no big deal. The other form I want to show you, and this you'll have to add to your projects because RTF requires, no, we don't want to save, a word list. Now, word list is actually a controlled form done by the RTF system. And he is, when you use spell check, then it'll present the possible words for you to choose in word list. So this is where this guy comes in, and he's done as a sticky, so it'll always stay on top while it's there. So those are my two forms. And since I got two forms, I went ahead and used the ICE design process, and I'm going to create a project called Cheat Sheet. That's this open form here. And we have our two windows here. And his parent, the word list parent, I'm setting to this, but that doesn't matter because it really doesn't use it. And so we can create yes, go ahead, and bring these two new files into our supposed project. I'm not really making this a project. What we're going to do here is that gives us these two sheets right here. And these are important, don't get me wrong. This is all our windows, this is our constants, everything is great. The real reason I brought this up was because if you notice, as we build enumerations, the enumerations keep incrementing by one all the way through the whole list, and we come down here and take the current enumerator value and we stick it into this image index. Now, depending on what's last loaded, it may be different, but I want to capture that guy. So right now it doesn't matter, but that gets those pieces out of our way. Now, if we come back to our folder structure here, this is made to kind of add to yours. Spell check requires the Hunspell 64 or 86. I'm going to be using the 64, and I'll show you how that links in. There's a module spell check here, which handles the reading and writing and calls in and out of these DLLs. Then we have dictionaries I have up here, and we have German and English and French. And there, if you go to the Hunspell website, you can download a whole bunch more languages. There's like no limit to the number of languages. In the help folder, we have the two cheat sheets. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open these up in here so we have them to look at because we're going to need them. And then we have a whole bunch of images. We have GUI images and we have menu images. I'm including all of those because, you know, what's a menu system without having images and stuff in it? And then we have one include file, which is the actual meat of RTF. This is the guy, and we'll go into depth when we get there on this. This is the guy that does all the RTF stuff. He's got all the calls for, you know, right justify, left justify, bold, italics, yada, yada, yada. There's 200 different things you can map out. So he's actually a shared component. Actually, everything in this, the help project level, RTF project level stuff is shared. This needs to go in your, if you're doing a project, this would all be in the main form of the project. And that's one of the things I want to start with when we get in here now and say, okay, here's the project, RTF project, and I'm going to take and copy absolutely everything this has, come over here and paste it into a blank sheet. Now, we'll go to the top. I mean, this is 300 and some odd lines of code. You'll obviously want to change the comment up here, but this tells you what you need to do. Step one is required enumerations. Well, what we're going to do is use enumeration, and we'll give it a name. So this is RTF cheat sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and start him off on a value of image index plus 1. Okay, so that's the last value that comes out of the constants folders. So this picks up right after. So there's no overlapping of numbers across all of your enumerations in the world here now. So this has two big blocks of enumerations. And this is important to know, and I've blocked them off that way. So you have from RTF menu all the way down to here. Now, these last three are more of a main form stuff. But the idea here is there's no reason you can't have multiple forms in your project that have editor gadgets that you want RTF, okay? So the way this whole cheat sheet works is I'm going to build you one, and if you want to add it to another, then all of these menu enumerators, I need another set of these because this is going to be for this form right here, okay? And if we're going to have a second form, I need a second set of these. That way everything is kept unique. So all you'd need to do is copy and paste and rename the form name, and then everything else goes through. We'll get to the other comments on the other stuff as we get to it. The stuff down here, these are the right-click menu, the pop-up menu stuff, the the images, all the different images that are used, and these can be used by no matter how many undo buttons or redo buttons you have, they can all share the same image. So you don't want to load a trillion of those in your machine. This just gets one set. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this collapse it down, I mean. And so then we have our includes. Well, we're going to need, oh, we don't need this because I didn't use the toolbar EX module. Okay, so you can use it if you want. It's there. I included it down in utils. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. This project here is kind of designed to be a little bit on the down and dirty side. You're taking and appending this all into your own projects. If you want to build out the toolbar, feel free. So here, this next define is a list of variables for RTF that it uses. And these variables are all binary, they're Booleans, and they keep track of, do you have bold on? Do you have italics on, underline, that sort of thing, all the different statuses of the selection inside your RTF, knowing whether the bold is pressed in or showing up on the toolbar or the buttons at the top of the screen. And again, I chose buttons, but that doesn't matter. Here is the definition of those states, okay? So then we have the spell check module that loads in. Then we have our include for the RTF control. Now, if you choose to move stuff into different folders, cool, just update your pathing here, no problem. Okay, so the next thing that happens is I have a procedure for load images, and then the call to the procedure to load all the images, which this is just a standard catch image. It calls the procedure down here to go include the binary, and it's all pathed to the folders that are in image. Once again, I'm using Linux forward slashes. Windows doesn't care really if you have forward slashes or backsplashes. Myself, since I port code to Linux, Linux cares a lot. So, and I just always use them, and you know, it works in Windows and it works in Linux, and I don't have to change anything. Okay, so now that we have the whole project stuff in, what we're going to do is create, and I have put this into my own little event loop creator. And so this pastes in a define for all the event, yada, yada, standard variables that I use all the time. And then it gives me a basic repeat loop. Okay, and I'm going to need to come down here and say end. So what we're going to want to do, and the easiest way, well, let's see. So what we're going to need to do, and this is, let's go ahead and close project, right? Project down. So form is our next one. So this is the presentation of our form and the code changes that come into it. And the form itself, oh, I don't need this up anymore. We've got what we need. So I know this is a main code sheet, and in your main code sheet, there's no PureBasic requirement for you to put your form inside of a procedure. However, there's a whole lot of stuff that RTF uses that is created in the RTF module, okay? This guy up here. So what we need to do is share that into the procedures that are going to be there. It's expecting them. So what I want to do is throw in a procedure for the display of our form, and we'll call this let's go RTF form. We don't need to pass anything in here. but we're going to include all of, whoops, wrong key. There we go. We can bump all that over and put in a end. Let's do it in front of you. And we can say end procedure here. All right. So, and then what we'll do is we will call this procedure, and then when it exits, then we'll shut the system down. How about that? Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to run, it's going to come down here, he's going to jump up there, he's going to launch that procedure which displays our form, and then when it comes back, when that exits, then it's going to hit this end condition and stop. So now in here, we need to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and display our form and say, I believe this is open, and I called that FRM form RTF, did I? And I think, oh no, I don't know what I called it. Hold on, let's go look. We can always cheat, and that's what I love about this language. So that's not a project. What I need to open up is going to be, come on, the code that is generated by ICE Design for the presentation of our form, which is FRM form. Okay, so let's see. I scroll down here. Right there. That's what we wanted. Is this right here? There we go. Those two lines of code. You know, the one thing about programming that always gets me is there is so many ways to do things, and none of them are wrong, really. Some are better than others, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everything in life is that way. So it's just there's so much to remember. And one of the things I've always just thought was kind of funny about programmers as a whole is we may not remember the exact line of code and what it is syntactically, but we will remember the last place we used it and go there and grab a copy of it and bring it over. So that's where this whole kind of project comes in. So we now have our open the window. It doesn't really do anything. Let's see. That actually I think should run. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. No, you're going to get mad because we don't have other stuff in here yet. Yes. All right. That's fine. That's okay. Not a big deal. Oh, you're mad here. What are you mad about? Constant not found. Oh, goodness gracious. I broke the main article of life. Let's see. We did not include our generated code. And let's go include those because I really think this should run. So we need to include cheat sheets constant and cheat sheet windows. So we'll include X include, and this is cheat sheet underscore constants. Okay. And then let's see, I guess we can throw it in here, huh? And we can say Windows. And yeah, that looks about right. Oh, and look at that. It's going to build and present for us. Wow. And there's our form. Isn't that awesome? We don't have a menu yet. We have buttons. We have all this that none of this works. Matter of fact, we don't even have our close. The only way we can shut it down really is to kill the code. So, okay, now we can start filling some stuff out. So our form, here's our window form, right? So let's go ahead and put you in here and say, okay, so case, this is to handle the close button, that X in the upper right, and we'll come down here and say, okay, oh, I can copy that whole thing, can I? Okay, there we go. All right, now we can close our form from the code. That's the important thing that we get at. Okay, so let's turn this thing into an RTF. What do you say? Main stuff is here. We have our form, we have existing stuff. Now,